Good morning and welcome. I bring you warm regards and the compliments from the board, management, and the entire staff of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority. Now, to save your time and save my breath as well, we would hereafter refer to ourselves by our short form acronym NSIA. And so it also means Nigerians serious about innovation and advancement. So it gives us great pleasure to welcome you all to the very first edition of the NSIA Prize For Innovation, holding in the Center of Excellence, Lagos. We are very grateful to our host, His Excellency Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for all the state's kind assistance and cooperation in helping to bring this day to fruition. So some might ask, why an NSI Innovation Prize? What is this all about? Are we just gathered here for some social event on a Saturday afternoon when you can be prepping for a football match? So I would explain a bit about what this is all about. This is about ideas. Like all great and phenomenal ideas, the Innovation Prize itself is not the end we hope to attain, but is a means to an end. And the outcome we desire is to create an ideas economy for our great country, Nigeria. And first, we at NSI would like to celebrate Nigeria and Nigerians, all those who, despite what are macroeconomic challenges, still manage to innovate and thrive. We are here to recognize how far our grit, our ingenuity, our innovation can help to shape us up as a worthwhile country. And we're also here to consider what next. But first, I would like to tell a short story about grit, an anecdote, if you like. So many years ago, I think 12 or 13 years, one of our earlier named collaborators and panelists is not here today. I think he couldn't attend today's event. Mr. Ikemefuna there's what we do simply refer to as a knapsack carrying backpack pioneer of today's tech industry. And I just used to wonder with his, backpack, straddling through and having all these great innovative ideas about how technology could help education, health, aviation. And as a lawyer advising, serious, in quotes, private equity entities, I just used to wonder a bit about this dreamer that Bumi was. So when our paths crossed, there was no shortage of great energy and dynamism, regarding all these plans that he had. So as far-fetched and lofty as they seemed, today I can tell you that he's grown that enterprise into an African unicorn of sorts. Or is it Mr. Kola, and the very great determination and creativity he continues to exhibit in aggregating and optimizing the most innovative ideas under this umbrella called the Venture Platform, or Yomi Awobokun, who is making great strides in technology investment, and all the other great men and women of endeavor who individually continue to advance our Nigerian innovation narrative. See, but there's a sense that although enterprise is essential, the collective action of the nation is critical. I think it's Michael E. Porter, the renowned Harvard Business School professor, who says national prosperity is created, it's not inherited. It does not grow out of a country's natural endowment, neither does it grow from its labor pool, its interest rate, or its currency's value as classical economists might want to postulate. A nation's competitiveness depends on its capacity to innovate and upgrade its industries. And so in a world of increasingly global competition, nations have become more, not less important. This is the raison d'etre for the NSIA. As you know, we at the NSIA, we have a statutory mandate to build a savings base for the Nigerian people, as well as enhancing the development of Nigerian infrastructure and providing stabilizing support at distress times, just as we've done during COVID. So this is why the NSIA is particularly focused on ensuring that the design, the thinking, the architecture and infrastructure to unleash innovation as a nation are both organized and sustainable. We are hopeful that this program will catalyze and instill ingenuity, creativity, and inventiveness among millions of young Nigerians that will produce great business ideas that are scalable, bankable, and will advance our economy and diversify us even more from what is today's norm. So permit me, I'm a member of the board, so I can't just come here and sermonize about innovation without selling the NSIA. So I'm going to transform into a salesman. Yes, and we also need to leave you with an idea of why we seek to provide this platform for homegrown ideas as a means of driving both economic and social growth. So we're a federation-owned investment institution, and we are charged with a threefold mandate. Two I've mentioned earlier. So we have our stabilization fund, which is intended to safeguard against budgetary deficits, as we did see with COVID. So this is meant to be a last resort fund from which the government may withdraw to meet shortfalls in the national budget, when there's a decline in oil prices or other budgetary constraints. Then we have the Future Generation Fund. The FGF is a savings fund for long-term investments to provide intergenerational equity for future generations of Nigerians. So the idea for us is not to eat up all of our future today. I've got my kid here, he's 15, and I'm sure he wouldn't want the idea that all the investments for his generation, Gen Z, right, and below, that they don't have anything to rely on in the years to come. So that's what the FGF seeks to do. Then we also have the NIF, the Nigeria Infrastructure Fund. It focuses entirely on the domestic front and will make investments in certain sectors of the Nigerian economy, including agriculture, motorways, healthcare, energy, and of course, tech. So the NIF is interesting because a lot of what we're doing here sits under the NIF. So our investments in the NIF have been enabling the catalytic development of infrastructure, and also it's rejuvenating key sectors of Nigeria's economy. So for instance, in healthcare, I think we're doing what's perhaps the biggest endeavor, to treat cancer in Africa. We are bringing in ultra-modern equipment that delivers first-class diagnostic and cancer care services across the length and breadth of the country. We've had an oncology center operational in Nigeria for a bit now. It's called the NSIA Luth Cancer Center. We also operate 2 diagnostic centers currently in Umuahia and in Kano, in the southeast and the northwest of Nigeria, respectively. Added to these, we are currently adding up 24 centers across Nigeria over the next 3 years. And our focus will be on oncology, diagnostics, and catheterization. That was a bit of a tongue twister, so pardon me. So the significance of this for us is to help put up structures to ensure that this huge void in healthcare delivery is filled and is addressed in a sustainable way. Also in the financial services sector, we have created catalytic financial services companies such as Infrastructure Credit Guarantee Company. I think Chino, I saw him somewhere, is there. He's run a fantastic operation so far. The Development Bank of Nigeria, the Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company Limited, and the Family Homes Fund Limited. In agriculture, we've also intervened in the fertilizer value chain under the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative. Over the past 5 years, we have transformed the fertilizer blending industry into one that now allows for local value addition in the fertilizer production process. I think we have an interesting agricultural investment somewhere around Nasarawa. It's called Signature Agri Investment, which we co-own with Novum Farms. And this farm has a fully integrated 150,000 metric ton of feed mill with irrigation capacity for 3,500 hectares of farmland. So it shows how big our investments in this space can be and just the sort of fundamental shifts that we can actually bring in the market. Also, you must be acquainted certainly with what's going on with the second Niger Bridge, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and the Abuja-Kaduna Road. These are road projects that the NSIA, through the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, is actually investing in and ensuring that there's timely delivery as well. Now, with respect to energy and just the sustainable outlook for the environment and obviously for our climate consideration, we very recently partnered up with Vitol, an energy and commodities trader, and we created a $50 million fund for sustainable projects that will deliver low carbon emission results while offering significant socioeconomic benefits. So this fund invests exclusively in projects in Nigeria, and we partner with credible local NGOs. So we seek to mobilize voluntary carbon capital from partners and potential third parties in a critical step toward a more equitable energy transition for Africa. So similar to this, we have an investment in Kano State where we're overseeing the investment and installation of $16 million worth of a power plant. Is 10 megawatts, and it is designed to supply power to an industrial cluster. And we hope that Q1 of next year, that should be up and running. It's the largest solar plant in Nigeria. It's called the Kumbuto Solar Farm. So I don't want to bore you with an endless list of projects that we have done, but I would like to also mention something about a sort of fund of funds approach. Now, under our Future Generations Fund, we've backed almost all our domestic private equity and venture capital funds because we believe this is an important sector for capital formation in Nigeria. We also invested in more than 50 GPs, both in Nigeria and globally. So, in effect, our direct and indirect investments, makes us the preferred destination for critical national projects because we demonstrate capacity and seriousness. As you might have seen with the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, and the Presidential Artisanal Gold Mining Development Initiative, amongst others. So by now, we do hope that you have formed an impression that we are not only relevant to society and nation building, but we are truly Nigerians serious about innovation and advancement, the NSIA. So this is why we want to bring our decade-long experience and capabilities in investment to unleash Nigeria's digital industry specifically, and innovation, much more widely. We truly believe in the ingenuity and creativity of Nigerians. Our board and management aim to help in developing the digital ecosystems so that it will be robust enough to first, attract domestic and foreign capital, second, improve access to talent and shared resources, and thirdly, to afford a system for knowledge sharing, training, and mentoring. So I will speak a bit about our support for the domestic digital economy and to expand our presence in emerging technologies and to replicate the success we have achieved in other focus sectors. We've established the NSIA Innovation Fund, and in 2020, the fund size is $25 million of our own capital. Now, the idea is that we think that with co-investments, we can grow this into a larger base to provide an investment platform. And so we've created this prize for innovation as a platform to educate, to train, and to position local technopreneurs for bankability. And we think that the NSI will help to cultivate a pipeline of investable companies. So our goal essentially is that in partnering with key operators and stakeholders within the digital ecosystem, a subset of those that are largely represented here today, that we could really achieve great things. We know that the potential is immense, it's large. Everyone sort of gets it that today the combined market capitalization of the four largest companies is in excess of $7 trillion US, and the big names: Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon. And the question for us is to imagine, to dream, and to picture that we could actually, from this room, from this meeting, spur the next Google or the next Amazon as a purely Nigerian enterprise. I hope you'll clap about that. So I'm going to close, and in closing, you can't really have a conversation about innovation without mentioning Albert Einstein. Somehow you have to infuse him into the speech. And so he once said that innovation is a team sport, and brilliant ideas go nowhere unless the people are aligned, collaborative, and team-oriented. So that's not me, that's Albert, right? So, but I want us to focus on the second part of the quote. It's essential for ideas to become businesses. So as we launch the prize today, the authority is making a direct and a different kind of commitment to Nigeria. We are saying that we are willing to put in place a system that will support, organize, and enable the emergence of digital powerhouses in Nigeria. So everyone is settled that there's a shift to the knowledge economy globally. And so it now places a higher imperative for state actors, for nations in the sphere of capital to evolve to address the dynamic needs of innovativeness. And we know that competitive advantage is created and sustained through a highly localized process. So there are values that attach themselves to all kinds of global conditions, but there's a need to localize the process for us to achieve our aims. So which is why this Innovation Prize seeks to identify and optimize our national values, our culture, our economic structures, our institutions, our histories in an aggregate form to contribute to the nation's competitive success. And we know that we can only achieve all of this through partnerships and collaborations with other state actors, federal and at subnational level, the private sector, academia, our young people, and indeed actors in the international arena. Ultimately, we will succeed because our home environment will be the most forward-looking, dynamic, and challenging. You need to only look at Nigeria's burgeoning fintech sector as testament to the inherent possibilities that exist. Again, I would say that inaugurating the Innovation Prize isn't an end by itself, and so we can't start to be very self-congratulatory that we launched today. But we hope that today we reflect in this gathering of thought leaders on the things that we hope will mark the development of Nigeria into the world's great engine of innovation. And we also seek your collaboration to join us in imagining a new, faster, higher trajectory of Nigerian innovation. This is a journey of optimism, of spirit, of determination, and of unleashing the power of Nigerian innovation on the continent and the world. In closing, we again thank our host, His Excellency Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and the good people of Lagos State for creating an enabling and conducive environment for the tech industry to thrive in Nigeria. Indeed, Lagos has become the Silicon Valley of Nigeria and maybe Africa. And it continues to serve as a natural habitat for innovators, startups, and the entire ecosystem. And we also want to thank the young and brilliant minds leading the charge on Nigeria's digital revolution. You are the country's unsung heroes and the reason for today's gathering. To all our guests here present, innovators, technopreneurs, and members of the press, we are honored by your presence. Thank you for being here. This is a group with great power, and we believe that each of you is a catalyst in the nation's journey to a new level of innovation performance.